Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, and I'm back with another video for you guys. We are going to continue on with this TryHackMe introduction to cybersecurity path, and we are looking at the introduction to offensive security, operating system security room. It says this room introduces users to operating system security and demonstrates SSH authentication on Linux. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1. Introduction to operating system security. Every day you use a smartphone or a laptop or almost any type of computer, you interact directly or indirectly with an operating system. Operating systems include MS Windows, which is Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, Chrome OS, and Linux. But what is an operating system? To define an operating system, we need to visit one computer term, hardware. Computer hardware refers to all the computer parts and peripherals that you can touch with your hand. Hardware includes the screen, the keyboard, the printer, the USB flash memory, and the desktop board. As shown in the figure below, the desktop board contains many components, in particular a central processing unit, which is known as a CPU, and memory chips, known as RAM, random access memory. Although not shown in the image below, the desktop board is usually connected to a storage device, HDD, which is hard disk drive, or SSD, which is solid state drive. Now, desktop board, this is the first time I've seen this referred to as a desktop board. We just call this a motherboard. The desktop board is the main part of a computer, and all the other pieces of hardware from keyboard and mouse to screen and printer connect to it. However, hardware components by themselves are useless if you want to run your favorite programs and applications. We need an operating system to control and drive them. And here's an infographic here. You got the software and see it, how it connects out here. You got programs, operating systems, and hardware. See how it interacts. And you got hardware separate by itself over here. The operating system, also known as OS, is the layer sitting between the hardware and the applications and programs you are running. Example programs you would use daily might include a web browser such as Firefox, Safari, and Chrome, and a messaging app such as Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram. All these programs and applications cannot run directly on the computer hardware. However, they run on top of the operating system. The operating system allows these programs to access the hardware according to specific rules. You see, the operating system kind of acts like a middleman between the hardware and the software. Software operating systems are designed to run on laptops and personal desktops such as Microsoft Windows 11 and Mac OS. Other operating systems are designed specifically for smartphones such as Android and iOS. There are also operating systems intended for servers. Examples include Microsoft Windows 2022, IBM AIX, and Oracle Solaris. Finally, there are operating systems that you can use on a personal computer and server. One is Linux. The image below shows the popularity of the different operating systems used to browse the internet according to StatCounter based on the data collected during January 2022. And you can see this infographic here, this pie chart here. As you can see, Android has a large market share here. Windows has a large market share here. They should also had mentioned embedded devices also have Microsoft or also have operating systems such as ATMs, machines have Microsoft Windows running on them a lot of times. Your smartphone might be running Android or iOS, and you might have plenty of private data on it. Examples include the following here. You got private connection or conversation with your friends and family, private photos, email clients, password saved web browsers, e-banking apps. The list of confidential and private data goes on. You don't want someone you don't trust to open your phone and go through your photos, conversations, and apps. Hence, you need to secure your phone and its operating system. Same goes for your laptop or computer running Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Your computer will most likely contain plenty of information such as the following: confidential files related to your work or university, private, personal files, email programs, passwords, a copy of digital camera and smartphone photos. The list can get very long depending on the type of user, and considering the name or the nature of the saved data, you want to ensure that your data is secure. When we talk about security, we should think of protecting three things. And this is the CIA triangle or CIA triad. Confidentiality. You want to ensure that secret and private files and information are only available to intended persons. Integrity. It is crucial that no one can tamper with the files stored on your system or while being transferred on the network. Availability. You want to make sure your laptop or your phone is available to use anytime you decide to use it. All right, think of confidentiality as like encryption. Integrity is going to be like a hash. All right, if the hash changes, then the file has been modified, right? Availability, all right? I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Think of something like you want to get your files to the right people, and the right people need to be able to access them. All right. So if the file is like locked out or whatever, then it shows lack of availability. Or if ransomware hits, or if it's a DDoS attack, right, that directly affects availability because your systems are bogged down with other things, and the appropriate users cannot access certain files or whatever they need to get to. All right, let's continue on here. In next task, we will discuss common attacks against these security pillars. Answer the question below. Which of the following is not an operating system? Well, that's going to be Thunderbird. I believe Thunderbird is an email application, if I'm not mistaken here. So let's go ahead and put that in here. All right, task number 2 here. We're going to talk about OS security. Common common examples of OS security. As we mentioned in the previous task, security is concerned with attacks against confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In this room, we will discuss or focus on 3 weaknesses targeted by malicious users. Number 1, authentication and weak passwords. Number 2, weak file permissions. Number 3, malicious programs. Authentication and weak passwords. Authentication is the act of verifying your identity, be it a local or remote system. Authentication can be achieved via 3 main ways: something you know, such as password or PIN code; something you are, such as a fingerprint; something you have, such as a phone number, via which you can receive a SMS message or a security FIDO token. Since passwords are the most common form of authentication, they are also the most attacked. Many users tend to use easy to guess passwords or the same password on many websites. That's called, um, let's see here. Right, do not do that. Do not share your passwords on multiple platforms. All right, that's a big no-no. Moreover, some users rely on personal details such as date of birth and name of their pet, thinking that it's easy to remember and unknown to attackers. However, attackers are aware of this tendency among users. Also, they can use OSINT to figure this out, which is open source intelligence. The National Cybersecurity Center (NCSC) has published a list of 100,000 most common passwords. Let's look at the top 20 passwords in the table below. So be sure to review this table here. As you can see, these are no-brainers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. QWERTY password. All right, easy to guess, easy to figure out. All right, not complicated at all. We can see that 1, 2, 3, yada 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 are on the list. Dictionary words such as password, I love you, monkey, and dragon are commonly used. Words not in the dictionary include QWERTY, blah 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 blah. These seemingly complex passwords are very predictable as they follow keyboard output or layout. See? Show an example below. Not hard to figure out at all. In brief, if the attacker can guess the password of any of our or your online accounts, such as your email or social media account, they will be able to access your private data. Therefore, it is vital that you choose complex passwords and use different passwords for different accounts. As I just stated before, use different passwords, right? Don't share the same password on multiple accounts. Weak file permissions. Proper security dictates the principle of least privilege in a work environment. You want any file accessible only by those who need access to it to get work done. On a personal level, if you are planning a trip with family or friends, you might want to share all the files related to that trip plan with those going on that trip. You don't want to share such files publicly. That's the principle of least privilege, or in simple terms, who can access what. Weak file permissions make it easy for the adversary to attack confidentiality and integrity. They can attack confidentiality as weak permissions allow them to access files they should not be able to access. Moreover, they can attack integrity as they might modify files that they should not be able to edit. Access to malicious programs. The last example we will consider is the case of malicious programs. Depending on the type of malicious program, it can attack confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And that looks like a Trojan horse to me. Some types of malicious programs, such as Trojan horses, give the attacker access to your system. Consequently, the attacker would be able to read your files or even modify them. Some types of malicious programs attack availability. One such example is ransomware. Didn't I say that earlier? Ransomware is a malicious program that encrypts the user's files. Encryption makes the files unreadable without knowing the encryption password. In other words, the files become gibberish without decryption, reversing the encryption. The attacker offers the user the ability to restore availability, i.e., regain access to the original files. They would give them the encryption password if the user is willing to pay a ransom. All right, let's answer some questions below. Which of the following is a strong password in your opinion? Well, let's see here. They all look pretty terrible, but let's go with this one here. I mean, these other ones were found in like dictionary, and this one was like a keyboard layout one, right? So let's go ahead and post this in there. There you go. All right, task number 3 here. Practical example of OS security. In one typical attack, the attacker seeks to gain access to a remote system. We can accomplish this attack by tricking the target into running a malicious file or by obtaining a username and password. We'll focus on the later. After discovering a username, we will try to guess the password. Furthermore, we will try to escalate our privilege to system administrator. This account is called root on Android, Apple, and Linux systems, while Microsoft Windows systems, this account is called administrator. The accounts root and administrator have complete unrestricted access to a system. In the task, we will try to hack into a Linux system. We assume that you have never used a Linux system before, and we will explain accordingly. So start the attack box, which I already did. Start the machine, which I've already did. It usually takes a minute or two to load. Once both are ready, you should use the attack box, which should be taking the right half of your screen by now. So I'm going to scroll back up here and show split screen and then scroll back down here to the task. And let's see here. All right, on the attack box, start the terminal, which is already open. So I'm going to open up a new tab. All right, we will cover the following Linux commands and explain them throughout this task. Who am I? SSH, username, at, IP address, ls, cat, file name, history. We were hired to check the security of a certain company. When we visited our client's office, we noticed a sticky note with the 2 words Sammy and Dragon on one of the screens. Let's see if Dragon is Sammy's password on the target machine from the attacker's box. So let's go ahead and SSH into it. So SSH Sammy at the IP address, which is 10.10.93.234. All right. I'm going to hit yes, and then the password to Sammy is going to be Dragon. Let's go ahead and try that out here. Voila, looks like we were able to log in here. All right, so we've already done all this here. Interaction with the attack box terminals below here. Now, usually when you get on these systems, you're gonna have to do or want to do a who am I to see who you're running as. So I'm gonna clear all this stuff out of here using the clear, and then you can type in who am I, see who you are logged in as, Sammy. All right, to list the files and directory, you can do ls for the list. All right, you could do ll as well, long list to find hidden files and such. And let's see here. If you want to display the contents in a file, you can use cat file name. So let's see, you can do cat country.txt, right? And it says UK, and let's do cat draft. All right, there we go. Using passwords means that your password on other sites can be hacked as well. All right, that's what we had explained up above when we read earlier. So let's go ahead and continue on here. All right, we've already done cat, ls, we've done everything here. And check history, you can type in history commands. So I'm gonna clear this out here. All right, history show stuff in here, what's been ran. This can be useful as well to see what commands that specific user was using, so you can gather up some more um, reconnaissance details, enumeration details, whatever. All right. So we've learned that 2 other usernames that can access the attached machine are Johnny and Linda. All right. So if you scroll through here and just read through everything that was done, cat password.txt. They did all kinds of stuff in there. Used V to edit some stuff. All right. So let's see. We know that both of these users have little regard for cybersecurity best practice. We can use several ways to guess the passwords. For these 2 users, we have, oh, sorry. Here we list 2 approaches. If you are not logged in as Sammy or another user, you can use this, Johnny, blah, 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 and manually try one password after the next to see which one works for Johnny. If you're logged in as Sammy or other user, you can use SU to switch user to Johnny. Manually try to type in the password. Based on the top 7 passwords, let's try to find Johnny's password. What is the password for the user? Okay, so it says based on the top 7 passwords, and we're going to try logging as Johnny. So I'm just going to do this to make it easy. All right, so switch user Johnny, and want us to type in the password. Now let's go back up here, and you got to take a look at the top 7 passwords. So I believe it was back in this here. All right, so let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's not it. Hey everybody, just a quick little blurb here. As you can see here, most people that view my channel are not subscribers. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like button. It helps get me in the algorithm, helps spread the good word out there, helps bring more people and increase our glorious community here. All right, I'm all about helping out others. I know what it's like to come up in cybersecurity or even try to get into cybersecurity and not knowing where to look. I'm just having this channel up so I can help out other people. All right, that's all I got. All right, we're back. Now, after some trial and error, you'll come to find out that the password is ABC123 for Johnny, a very weak password. Once you are logged in as Johnny, you can use the history command to check the commands that Johnny has typed. We expect Johnny to have mistakenly typed root password instead of a command. What is the root password? All right, so we'll go ahead and clear all this out of here and type in history. There we go. And you go back and take a look here and see they got notes, a bunch of stuff in there, coffee.txt, all kinds of stuff. All right, so we need to find out the root password here, and it's probably this one. This looks like a password to me, so go ahead and copy and paste this. All right, there we go. Well, logged in as Johnny, use the su root, switch over to root. So let's go ahead and do that. Clear this out. Su to root, and then type this in here. See if it lets me paste it this way here. Awesome. All right, now let's do this. There's the root flag, so you can cat flag that text. There we go. And you got root. That, see, easy peasy. That's why you should have strong passphrases when you have set passwords for your accounts. All right, make something weak like this, and it's easy to figure out. Better yet, there's automated tools these days that attackers can use to break into your accounts. Make sure you have multi-factor or two-factor authentication set up for your account. So that's an extra layer of security for your account in case your password so happens to end up in a data breach somewhere or it's guessed. The attacker has to bypass that second form of authentication. Okay, that is pretty much it for this video. I mean, you can spend some time messing around in here. Now, a quick little tidbit is that if you manage to break into someone's account here through SSH on a Linux box, you can use this here, this cat etc pass WD, right, to find users inside of this machine, right? So you go down here, you can see Johnny's in there, Linda, Sammy, yada yada yada. All right, so that's a little tidbit there, and you can try to do etc shadow, right, to see the password hashes, but it's not going to do it because you're not root, right? You don't have permissions to do it. You can also use ID to find out your permissions, right? You have available for that account. Now, if you are root, you can go in, let me just clear this out of here, and you can go in and do etc shadow to get those hashes out of there. See, now I have the password hashes for these other accounts as well. But that wraps up this video, guys. If you found this video informative, you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, comment below your thoughts, opinions, share the video, all that good stuff. Helps get the word out there, helps grow this channel. As always, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you later.